Hello, we're gonna bake gingerbread today. Not gingerbread cookies, actual gingerbread. It's a totally different animal. Some of you maybe have not ever even had it. It's not for everyone. It is one of my favorite things. It's one of the things I make during the holidays, specifically because I'm the one who loves to eat it. Did you know that that's okay? Did you know that you can make stuff at Christmas just because you like it? I know. So we're gonna do this very nice and slow. The last couple vlogs, I feel like I've been super hyper. Now that we are in the home stretch, I'm starting my wind down. I wanna enjoy the holidays from from an attitude of feeling rested and happy, and I wanna hang out with my family. And this baking time is so sacred to me. I feel like I've talked about baking in terms of memories and experience and what I love to do, maybe more than anything else. And so, yeah, I kind of wish I lived closer to my sister. Well, I always wish that, but she's the savory person. She was making the sausage balls and the homemade Chex Mix and all that. I'm like, if we lived closer to each other, I feel like we would have the perfect Christmas feast. And bonus, we would both enjoy what we were making. But this recipe is actually one I have not tried before. The recipe from the Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, which is the one I've used for years, calls for shortening. I just wasn't feeling shortening this year, mostly because I don't use it for anything else. So I always buy this thing of shortening and then end up throwing it away. So we're gonna try this one that I pulled off of the internet from All Recipes. It looks pretty good. Gingerbread is a super simple recipe. We're talking butter, sugar, egg, molasses, flour, baking soda, cinnamon, ginger, cloves, salt, and hot water. And the hot water part is super important, pretty much for every gingerbread cookie, every gingerbread bread recipe. Did I already call it gingerbread bread? Because it's gingerbread. Anyway, in case you're confused. Also a note on gingerbread. Some of you think you don't like it, and here's why. Gingerbread has a lot of iterations. In the German tradition, you will have gingerbread that is so spicy, like has such a kick to it, that as a kid, I never liked it. My grandmother was a huge German baker cook, and sometimes she and my mom both would put pepper in the gingerbread. I never liked that. I definitely like a more mild gingerbread. If you go to any Christmas markets in Europe, which I'll admittedly have never been to, but I've seen videos, they'll always have a variety of different gingerbread options, going from very mild to very, if not quite spicy, almost spicy. So if you think you don't like gingerbread, you maybe haven't had the kind of gingerbread that I'm gonna make today, which is definitely sweet. Although I will say generally, regular gingerbread is somewhat less sweet than a gingerbread cookie, which would have icing or whatever. A lot of people will do a sauce of some sort with gingerbread. You could do a vanilla sauce. Yesterday on the Patreon live stream, someone mentioned that they grew up with a lemon sauce on gingerbread. I don't like it with sauce. In fact, I just like it with a little bit of really good butter. So anyway, that's what we're gonna make today. So the ingredients, like I said, super simple. Molasses. You wanna make sure your molasses isn't expired. And you don't wanna use, what's the kind you don't wanna use? Blackstrap. Blackstrap molasses has a very, very strong flavor. And if you use that, that's pretty much all you'll taste. So you want to use regular, this is grandma's molasses. I mean, how could you not, right? It's from grandma. We've got regular salt. We've got 1 egg, our measuring cups. Again, our red Christmas measuring cups, not necessary. We have got ground cloves, ground ginger. Check your spices. A lot of y'all are living with very expired spices, and it will affect the flavor, especially with something like this. Butter, you're supposed to use unsalted. I'm using salted. What you should do if you're like a good baker is then not add the additional salt, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And I think it's gonna be okay. And I'm doing this in real time because I'm not Julia Childs. So I don't know if y'all have ever seen that documentary about her, or maybe you've seen the still shots of a group of men like handing her things that are pre-made from underneath the kitchen counter, and they're like just out of shot. I don't got that here. It's just me and the dogs in the kitchen. So if it doesn't turn out, we're in this together, and yeah, that's all I got on that. So let's get started. I hope your day is going really well. I hope that you are able to share in the kind of, bringing it down, coming down the other side. Whatever at this point isn't done, we may want to just release it and just say, next year maybe we could try again. We've all been through a lot in this season, and maybe I'm only speaking for myself, but it's time to give us a break. You deserve a break. So, just do that. Okay, now I'm going to read you the recipe. Since I've never done this one before, I always try to read through. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees, already done. Grease and flour a 9-inch square baking pan. Now, greasing a pan, you have a couple of different options. This, for some of you, is going to seem like a very strange thing to do, but we usually grease our pans with butter, and this is how my mom used to do it, and so I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I do things and then people on the internet are like, that's disgusting. I don't know. So I'm just taking a little bit of butter and literally putting it on a paper towel. And this is how we're going to grease our pan. Of course, you could use just spray. You could use shortening, whatever. This time of year, I almost always have a softened stick of butter out. Just because you need it for a lot of different reasons. So we're going to grease the sides. You could also use parchment paper, especially if you're going to gift it, if you're concerned that it may not come out clean. This one is just for our family, so I'm not really all that worried about it. So we've greased it, and now we're going to flour. For flouring, obviously, I washed my hands really well before we started this process. Just going to flour. Now, when you use glass, you kind of have to watch your temperature a little bit because sometimes the glass will cook a little bit faster. Some recipes will tell you. Let's just see if I can make a bigger mess on the counter. Nope, that's good enough. Good enough mess. Okay, I'm going to kind of shake that out. I want that flour to get on the sides. Ta-da! Okay. All right, I shook out the excess flour, so that's done, and I just heard that our oven preheated. Now in our mixing bowl, I'm going to read ahead because I know it calls for beat butter in a large bowl with an electric mixer until creamy. Add sugar and beat light and fluffy about 3 minutes. 3 minutes, that's a long time. Mix in egg, then mix in molasses. Stir flour, baking soda, cinnamon, ginger, clove, and salt into a large bowl. Gradually add dry ingredients to the molasses mixture, mixing after each addition until incorporated. Mix in water until smooth. Okay, so we're just gonna do this in the order in which we have been asked to do it. And I think I told you guys in the last Bake With Me video that we did that I have to read and reread the instructions over and over and over again. And I've been baking my entire life since I was 5. That's just how my brain works. So that's okay if that's how your brain works. Also, I can't have a lot of distractions when I'm baking, or I will for sure make mistakes. So if I get quiet, it's because I'm focusing. And we don't have time for a lot of editing today because this is the 21st. I'm filming this on the 21st, and I also want to upload the video on the 21st. So, we are flying by the seat of our pants here. That's how we roll here at Chez Lefforge. Okay, until creamy. This is always kind of a tricky thing because I feel like a lot of times, my butter got turned around, we don't really beat it until creamy, and that takes a minute, like usually at least 30 seconds. So let's do that, and I will speed it up for you. Okay, I'm going to show you what this looks like so you know what they mean when they say until creamy. See? So it kind of turns into almost looking like a cream. That's why it's called until creamy. And that took about 35, 45 seconds. Did you notice I did a little Charlie Brown dance break in there? Okay, so we've done that. Add sugar and beat until light and fluffy. And we are going with a 1/2 cup of white sugar. Again, we know my fancy red, completely unnecessary holiday measuring cups. I think I bought these measuring cups the same time. Let's do our thumbnail. I think I bought that the same time that I bought this apron at Williams-Sonoma. I don't know what, I think we had come off a few years of like deprivation. And so that I needed to like splurge that Christmas. And this was my version of a big splurge. Beat until light and fluffy, about 3 minutes. I would strongly recommend setting a timer for 3 minutes because you're going to think it's been 3 minutes and you are, if you're like me in the kitchen, I shouldn't project this upon you. I am like a dog when I'm in the kitchen. Time does not mean the same thing to me. So we're going to set the timer on the microwave because I would do it on my phone, but I'm filming on my phone. So there you go. Okay. So that's been about 3 minutes. I'm going to show you this so you can see what light and fluffy. Does that look cool? I love that. Very cylindrical. So that's done. Now we're going to mix in the egg. So our 1 egg, and don't forget our trick about always crack the egg into a smaller bowl first. We don't want to get any shell in there like that. I remember being a kid and being like terrified about getting shell in anything. I think I thought it would poison me. Let me wash my hands really quick. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday if today is your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Okay. All right, we washed our hands. If you wonder why I sing happy birthday every time I do that, then you've never substituted in a kindergarten class because that's what you do. Okay, beat butter in a large bowl, blah, blah, blah. Add sugar, 3 minutes, mix in the egg. Normally you want to break an egg up a little bit before you put it in. I'm not going to because, you know, I'm just not going to. All right, mix in the egg. I'm going to get my spatula, my red spatula, because it matches. That's not actually why. I just happen to have a red spatula. Okay, there we go. Gonna mix in the egg. I'm gonna give that, was sticking to the side just a little bit. The KitchenAid is pretty good about not sticking, but you still have to help it every once in a while. Now we're gonna add our molasses, which is 1 cup, right? Was that 1 cup of molasses? Yes, 1 cup of molasses. Now for molasses, you wanna use a liquid measuring cup, not a dry measuring cup. And there are a variety of different reasons, but you will come out with different results. If you use this for a wet ingredient like water or anything like that. So just always make sure you stick with, whoo, that's fun. I might want to do that on slow motion. That is, just always make sure you stick with, whoo, that's fun. I might want to do that on slow motion. That is. So that's my other tip. You're going to want to put this measuring cup in hot water as soon as you've done this because yikes, that's a whole thing. Okay, let's put that in there. Definitely going to want to scrape the inside. Okay, gosh, that is so satisfying. This is like meditation to me in a way. I know that seems silly, but it just, oh, what a mess. Okay. I'm going to put that there. I'm putting this in hot water. That molasses will stick to everything. Okay. All right, we did that. That's good. Now I'm going to do this. Oh, such a fun texture. This is why I love baking so much. Okay, now we're going to combine that. And the goal here is to combine until smooth, like smooth jazz. Okay. Someday this mixer is going to give out. Someday, mixer, you will not be able to make the gingerbread in my kitchen. But today is not that day. Anyone get the reference? Okay. It is looking like, I'm gonna scrape it down just a little because I've got some remnants of, also, this is so fun. You guys, it's so fun that I'm sharing this with you because normally it's just me alone in my kitchen. I mean, I recognize I'm still alone in my kitchen, but you know what I mean. Okay. I'm gonna pick you up and take you over here and show you. Look at this. Look how beautiful that is. Is that just, I mean, does anything scream Christmas more than that? I'm gonna go with no. Now we have to sift. Now I'm gonna tell you a secret about sifting as I get my bowl to mix up my flour. The thing about sifting is most of us, unless we have like our grandmother's sifter, do not have a sifter. So I'm gonna show you a trick that I actually learned on the Martha Stewart television show a million years ago. 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Remember what we talked about last time, how you wanna spoon your flour in. You don't want to dip it in, because if you dip it in, you're gonna compact the flour and you're gonna end up with more flour than you want. So you're gonna wanna do this. Martha Stewart, say what you will, right? But that girl knows how to stay relevant. I mean, if ever there were an example of someone who knows how to stay relevant in a very, like ever-changing world, she is the one. She is the definition of tenacity. Okay, we're just gonna do this. Whoops, that was too much. There is an implement you can have. There we go. So that's 1 cup. I'm gonna say this out loud. I actually have it. You also use it to cut bread dough in half. By the way, I got all my kids the King Arthur Flour bread baking book for Christmas. I'm so excited for them to open it. Okay, 2 cups. Tonight, I am going to see a performance at a local jazz club. It's a night with Charlie Brown, and it is a Vince Guaraldi tribute evening with a local jazz band with dinner and drinks. It's a gift from one of my kids, and I am so freaking excited. I probably won't film any of it. How much flour am I doing? 2.5. But I am really looking forward to it. That album, Vince Guaraldi Christmas, Charlie Brown Christmas, absolute favorite. I will listen to that even when it is not the holidays. I'm a huge jazz person anyway, and that album, just love. Okay, we're done with our flour. Now we need 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. I did just, this is kind of funny. I asked Scott to buy me fresh baking soda before I show you, because having fresh baking soda is really important for your cookies and things to turn out. So I asked him to get baking soda, and he got me baking soda, which it's the exact same product. Obviously, I didn't specify because I also use baking soda for, cleaning. I actually use it quite a bit for cleaning. It's great for getting things off of your cooktop. It has all kinds of purposes. But I just thought that was funny because this is a little, ask Scott Lefforge for baking soda and he will deliver. He will bring you baking soda. Okay, let's see. How much of that did I say I needed? 1.5 teaspoons. So there's quite a bit of baking soda in this recipe. 1.5. This time of year, I always keep my measuring spoons on a hook in the kitchen because it's just easier. So we got our, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We've got that. All right, 1/2 teaspoon salt. Here I go, reading my recipe again. Ginger and cloves. So we need 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. And there's no pepper in this recipe. I don't know if that was just my grandmother that did that, but not a fan. Not a fan at all. And actually, it was my great-grandmother that was the cook or the baker. My grandmother was more of a chef. She really loved to cook everything from scratch. She would make curry and Chinese food and food you would not believe, my grandmother. She was such a great cook. I always remember doing tostada night at her house. It was lovely. Okay, that was the ginger, and then I need a teaspoon of the cloves. Another thing I would strongly recommend, especially if you're trying to film a YouTube video while you do this, as soon as you've put a spice in, especially if you're working with spices that look similarly, these don't really, but set it aside because you'll forget and you'll end up putting double of one and none of another. And then I need cinnamon. I need a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Here we go. Hopefully my cinnamon is close by. It is. We go through a lot of cinnamon this time of year. Let me double check that yes. Teaspoon. The other day, some of you will know, I had no sound for half of my video. That would not be good if that happened in this. I would be upset. Okay, so we're gonna sift them together. Now here's my tip for you. If you don't have a sifter, do you have a whisk? Because although it's not like exactly as good as having a sifter, it does the exact same thing. I have a sifter somewhere in this house. I think sifters are a pain in the neck to use, and I also think they're a pain in the neck to clean. Yeah, I had one forever that was my mom's, that was the kind that you could do like this, but to be honest, it got kind of rusty and kind of grody. And this way, using the whisk, you get the same exact, or if not exact, certainly close enough to make the recipe work. So yeah, can you believe I learned that on Martha Stewart? Either it was on her television show, she used to have a show on PBS that I would love to watch on Saturday mornings, or it might have been on one of her, when she used to be on CBS. She used to be on their morning show, could have been her show, no idea. But she went out of her way to say, if you don't have a sifter, don't worry, if you have a whisk, you're fine. And I always love that. I love a good shortcut if you're in a pinch. So you're supposed to gradually add in the dry mixture to the wet mixture until thoroughly combined. And obviously we're only doing it gradually so that the flour doesn't go all over the place. My mom has a great story she always tells about making cookies with my oldest when I was in the hospital having my twins. And he turned actually I think they were making a cake. And she put the flour in and he turned it to high and the flour went all over both of them and they laughed themselves silly. And my son still remembers that. I mean, it was a big day, obviously. His twin brothers were born and ruined his life, if you ask him. But I think most single-born people that then had twins will say that their twin siblings ruined their lives. It's just part of the fun. It is just part of the fun. I've said this before, but our twins were... we were not expecting twins. We did not do anything that encourages having twins. But y'all know never to ask somebody that question, right? It's kind of like a marathon time. If somebody wants you to know their marathon time, they're going to tell you. If somebody wants you to know how their twins came to be, they will tell you. It's such a weird question, and it's one that I would get asked all the time. Did you have them naturally? And I'm like, is there any other way to have them? So it's just a weird question. Don't ask it. If a mother wants you to know that, she'll tell you. It's just a weird question. Okay, almost done. One more. One more. One day more. One more day. Okay. One day more. Okay, you don't want to overmix that. This is looking so good. Okay, let me show you what it looks like now. I like to show you every step of the way. So when you're making it, you can be like, does this look right? Does this look right? And actually, since I've never made this recipe, I don't know if it does look right. Maybe it's not right. Who knows? Okay, and then we did that. Mix in water until smooth. Okay, now we need our hot water. Hot water. Stay in there, hot water. It is. I hope that was supposed to be 1 cup of hot water. I read that like 16 times. Yes. That would be funny at this point. I mean, I would be okay with it because, you know, is what it is. All right, all this needs to be washed, so we will just set this all over here. Oh, the smell. I wish you guys could smell this. Amazing. Amazing. That is a thing. That is a thing of beauty. If this doesn't turn out, it still would have been worth it because this was so fun. Okay, now we're gonna pour this. Here's what we got. We're gonna pour this into our prepared pan. I'm gonna scoot you down so you can watch me do that part. Okay, you ready? Pour into our prepared pan. What? What? Oh my gosh. Oh my God, you guys. Gingerbread coming from my kitchen eyes. What are kitchen eyes? I don't know. Would love to tell you that I don't sing like this when I'm in my kitchen and I'm not filming, but I think we both know that would be a lie. Okay. I wonder how long this has to cook. I wonder if we have time while this is baking to go and do our advent calendars. Again, this is gonna be a really sticky dough, you guys. So you're gonna wanna put water on that right away because otherwise you're gonna have a big old sticky mess on your hands. Okay, now if you're gonna give this, you have a couple of options. If you're gonna gift it, you could either take it out of the pan or you can cut it into slices and gift it like in a little tin, kind of like you would cookies. How long are you gonna bake? 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes will be plenty of time for us to do our advent. So let's put this in the oven. Guys, I cannot even express. I can like feel the stress leaving my body. Gingerbread, is it healing? Perhaps. My new dissertation on gingerbread. Let's start with the wine today. We are on day 20. Are we on day 22? Is this the 22nd? I think the whole time, yeah, this is the 22nd. The whole time we were upstairs, I kept saying it was the 21st. No, it isn't. It's the 22nd, which means tomorrow is the 23rd, which means the day after tomorrow is Christmas Eve. Wait. Before we pull that out, that means we have, that's an upside down 3 if I ever saw one. We have 3, that is a weird looking 3 or I am losing my mind. There we go. 3 days until Christmas. 3 days, MacGruber. Crazy. All right, very exciting. Day 22 on our wine. I'm so glad I figured out it was the 22nd today and not the 21st. This is a Gruner Veltliner from Monterey County. So that is going to be a German wine. Let me find my thing. I don't know where it is. You guys, how hard is it? It's only like that one. Oh, here it is. Sorry. Okay, 22 is aromas of green apple, lime, and white pepper, flavors of citrus, pear, and a touch of minerality. Again, with our touch of minerality, and it is a California wine, but it seems like it's probably German. It's behind me. That's a different white wine. So yeah, this I will pop. This is again from the Fortune Favors line. What a beautiful bottle. I love that color green. That is so, so, so very pretty. So I am looking forward to trying that. I started to, in my Patreon live stream, started to say something. So if you're one of my patrons, I never finished saying it. Like, which of these would I say is the best value for money? And I'm going to reserve my final judgment until we do 24 and 25, which we're going to do on Christmas Eve itself. But I got to tell you, in the front runner is for sure the Beekman. And as of right now, in the bottom of the barrel is the L'Occitane. Because, I mean, it wasn't wildly expensive, but it's like some of these are so tiny that I almost just don't even feel like it was worth the bother. I'm sorry, L'Occitane, but I just was not impressed. Okay, this one's wrapped. Maybe they're going to redeem themselves. It is a roll of $100 bills. No, no, it is not. What is it? Does anyone? Do we think this goes with something else? Maybe it's for, what is this? It doesn't say what it is. Please comment below if you know what this is. Maybe whatever we open tomorrow. Okay, moving right along. No idea. Elemis. Number 22 in our Elemis. Whoops, I'm covering up my microphone. Number 22. The dogs are upstairs, and I gave them a break after yesterday's frivolity. If you are a huge fan of my dogs and you didn't watch yesterday, go and watch yesterday. They were all up in my business, as my husband said. This is the product that I have on my face right now that I discovered through the advent calendars and went and bought a full size of, and that is the Glow Priming Moisturizer. Love, love, love this product. It is so great under makeup. It gives your skin just a little bit of a glow. I absolutely love it. This is, of all the things I've ever discovered through the advent calendars, this is the one that I continue to buy over and over, and I just adore. So yeah, very happy with that. All right, number 22 on our Beekman 1802. Again, winning for Best in Show. 22 right here. Great film, by the way. Any of you that are waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, A Mighty Wind. These are my films. Another almost full size. This one is the Spiced Orange Goat Milk Soap. Absolutely divine. I'm sure you can imagine. I am just, again, I'm thrilled. I showed this on social media. I'm not sure if I talked about it on here or not, but that cuticle serum that was in one of the first few days, I've been using it every day, and my cuticles are all completely healed. I am like so very happy, and it has continued to be the case. I just use it in the nighttime before I go to bed, and then I'll use it again in the morning, like while I'm having my coffee, and just, I'm telling you, and I went and visited my family, so, you know, I'm saying if my cuticles could make it through that, they could make it through anything. Okay, let's pop back upstairs. We still have like 20 minutes for that to cook, and I have a meeting with Annalise in 45 minutes, and I'm supposed to have had I'm supposed to have, here was my assignment. Sometimes I wonder who works for whom, which is fine, because she's great at her job, but I'm supposed to go over all of the Facebook posts for the month of January, and I'm supposed to have written my January blurb, which is for my newsletter, which brings up my newsletter, which you may not even know I have, because I'm supposed to be bringing it up and I always forget. So you're going to want to go to my website, which is jenlefforge.com, and on the front page, you'll see a big banner where you can put in your email address and you can sign up for the newsletter. We never sell your information. I only send out an email once a month, but I will be sending out updates about the e-course from time to time. And every once in a while, I'll send a special email. But by and large, it's just once a month. It's a little letter from me every month with some tips and tricks, sometimes an FAQ, links to anything that you might have missed. And I think it's fun. So I hope you will join us over there. Okay, back up. Let's get the rest of the day done. Okay, so I'm popping in really quick to let you know that I reread the recipe, because when the timer went off at the 30-minute mark, no way it was done. Like the middle was still very wet and not set yet. And so I put it in for an additional 15 minutes. I just checked it again, and I just put it in for another 15 minutes. It's almost there, but I want to read you this note from the editor. The original recipe called for 1 hour of bake time. Reviewers had different results, with some cakes being done after 30 or 45 minutes. The recipe has been updated to reflect a bake time of 30 to 60 minutes. Now that is a wild variation. So you're going to have to baby it a little bit while it's cooking. Ironically, I just reached out to Annalise and let her know that I'm going to be late for our meeting because I need my camera to film and the cake isn't done. And I also use my camera to talk to her. I could totally do our FaceTime on my computer. But yeah, it was just easier to move it to 1:30. So hopefully she'll be okay with that. But yeah, I just thought that was crazy. That's just I don't think I've ever seen a recipe with that varied of a cook time, but it's almost there. In fact, 15 minutes might have been too long. So I'm kind of going by how it smells, but we're getting there. We're almost there. But I think we're good. Oh yes, we're good. We have a little hole in the middle, but that's my fault. Oh my gosh, that looks divine. All right, so this is out of the oven. Are we a little overdone on the corners? Yes, we are a little overdone on the corners, but I still think our end result is going to be delicious and lovely. And if it's a little bit not as moist as I want, then what we can do is put it with some whipping cream and we'll never notice. All right, we're gonna let that cool. Would love to not have that hole in the middle. What do we think? What could we do with the hole in the middle if we were gifting this to someone? Well, I guess if we're cutting it into squares, like I suggested to gift it, it totally doesn't matter. But I am very, very hopeful that this is going to taste delicious. So we're going to leave this here to cool. I'm going to go have my meeting with Annalise. When I get back, we will cut into this and make some tea and see what we think. Do not give up hope just because it's got a big belly button. It's a gingerbread with a belly button. It's okay. Come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Okay, you guys, it's fully cooled. Here we go. This is what it looks like. It is overdone, but not by enough to make a difference. And if I'd let it cool a little bit more, it would have been more in squares. So again, if you're gonna do it as a gift, you could either do it cut into squares and like put it in a tin, or you could take out the whole 9x9 pan and wrap that like maybe in parchment paper, put a ribbon around it, perfect for gifting. Okay, I'm like crouched down because I want to be able to show it to you. Okay, let's try this. Oh my gosh, so good. I wish you could smell it. Okay, so it didn't matter at all that it was overdone. I can see why people like to do it with like a lemon sauce or a vanilla sauce, or even a whiskey sauce would be really good, like you do with a bread pudding. Okay. Successful recipe. I will definitely put the link in the description box. Whatever you're doing today, I hope you're finding joy. 2 more videos left after today, so hopefully I will see you tomorrow, and I hope you enjoy. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Bye.